Morning everybody, well done for getting on board, and I'll make a start. My name's Emma and I'm based up just outside, between Wrexham, Rwabon and Llangollen, just in the middle there, a little village called Kevin-Mawr, and I overlook the aqueduct, which is really lovely. I'm looking at it now. I'm in a bay window, which is why I'm lit. Right, we're going to have a go at making some kites. I normally make them with a piece of A3 paper. So I'll do the first demonstration with the A3 paper, and then I've got some A4 paper, and I've also got some other materials that you could have a go and experiment with if you don't have lots of A3 paper, because it's not necessarily something that people will have in their homes. So we'll start off with the A3 one. I'll put that over there for now. So, oh, maybe I should have put this on a clippy. So you have a piece of paper, fold it in half. Okay, and then this is the tricky bit you need to concentrate on. Two bits that open out get folded along the folded edge.
Fold your paper in half
to make a triangle. If I do the demonstration first, and then we can all go through it together if we need to. So that's your triangle. Doesn't really matter, you know, whether it goes to the end or halfway, as long as it's a decent sized triangle. And make sure that you've got the bits open there. If you need to, you can draw a line along it so that you can help you see it, but I usually just use the fold. Cut along it. And so what you should have now, if you cut it out correctly, you'll have two triangles. Okay. And a huge pair of underpants. Okay. If you haven't got that shape, you cut it out wrong. We'll start again. So you lay your kite down. I'm going to get a coloured piece.
What is it?
Right. I'm just going to put this down here so that you can see it better. Sort of like good, but it's not actually. So I'll just put pink on. Right, that's better. So big pair of underpants, two triangles. Keep your triangles together. Now, bit of maths. The right angle triangle, okay, goes where the belly button would be in your underpants. So that goes there, like that. Okay. So pop them down there so that the two sides are running along the crease. Got some sellotape. Stick it on the side of the table. And when you cut yourself, if you cut it, oh, these are the worst scissors. I've got a pair here. Right, that's better. You cut it and then stick it back on the table straight away. You're not forever finding the end.
Just
stick that along that bit. You see, along that bit there. Make sure it goes right to the top there, and it's not too loose. Fold both over. This one will still be loose. It'll come off. There you go. Stick it back on top. A bit of sellotape. There you go. I said before, cut yourself. I didn't mean cut yourself. I meant cut yourself, and then I stopped a piece of sellotape. Don't cut yourself. Not this time. Yeah. Right. I'm going to stick that bit of sellotape, and then you should have something that looks a bit like a flappy bird. Okay. So the next thing we need to do with our flappy bird is imagine that it was a bird and think whereabouts its eye would go. Okay, so I'm going to put his eye about there. So put him upside down. There you go, like that. Oh, I need to cut about a 10 centimetre piece of sellotape, something like that. And then holding up the body of the bird, stick the sellotape around like that. Okay, Now, ideally, you've got a hole punch. I've got this really nifty little tool that makes one hole, which is brilliant. I've got about 10 of these for when I go in and do classes. You slide the machine over the paper, give it a squeeze, and you've got yourself a hole. If you haven't got that, you could try a needle, or maybe a knitting needle, or with a bit of help, a pair of scissors, just make a little hole, fold it over, and then cut it. And then you've got something. It doesn't need to be necessarily a round hole, it's just something we can thread something through later. So now we've got our bird, okay? Now a bird has got a body and heart and lungs and everything, so it can flap its wings. And what we want to do is to create something that's going to hover, okay? So we need to make this leading edge nice and rigid, because we don't want it flapping up. If we flap it up, it will dive down. So we want the wings out nice and straight. So we're going to brace it with things that are now banned and evil, but I've had lots. So hopefully you've got a few left and you're recycling and using them again and again. Plastic straws. So you need to just put the bendy bits on the outside, so they're like the wing tips, like that. Okay, and we're going to just cross those over slightly in the middle there. And put them down there. Da, da, da. Bit of sellotape. You want to sellotape it down.
Sorry, we fell behind slightly. Could you just show me where we?
That's okay.
So we need to hole punch under.
Oh right, hole punch underneath.
Yeah.
On the triangle where the eye would be. So put a bit of sellotape over it first, so it holds the two triangles together.
Righto.
And then you hole punch over your sellotape. The sellotape strengthens it.
Yeah, okay. All
and
right.
that's where your string's going to go eventually, you see.
Okie dokes. Right. We'll,
that's like your bird's eye.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
That's all right. I'll go through the demo and then we'll go through it again. If you haven't got straws, you could very tightly roll some bits of paper, some other thin bits of paper. Newspaper would be great because you can get that really, really tight and make it quite thin, and it'd be quite rigid. Paper straws work as well. They do tend to snap a bit, so you might need to just put a few more, because they go out and they get damaged. You can always just pop another straw across it.
Plastic straws in recycling, tiny ones.
So it's currently like that. So I'm just going to add 2 more bits of sellotape over, pretty much over where the bendy bits are. I usually do it about 1 centimetre from the edge of the kite. If you are holding it, make sure that you're holding it down flat as well. Don't do it in your hands, because otherwise you might end up sellotaping it like that, and then the wind will go over the top. You want it nice and rigid. So, and also if it does, when you're sticking it down, it sticks to the paper. Don't worry too much. Oh, is that my coffee? Thank you. Coffee delivery. Right, milky. It's a bit milky, lovely. Okay. So we've now got kind of kite shape. What's a really nice idea is to decorate it a bit. We can decorate them a bit more. Then we need some string. Now you can use cotton, wool, baling twine, you know, cotton string, whatever. I've got some embroidery thread, very old embroidery thread. It's left over from a weaving project that I helped out on years ago. Right. Then we thread the string through the eye and tie a knot.
No.
Oh,
Right back.
no, that's jelly. We've got like 18 bottles of it.
There we go. So now we've got, oh, you can't really see the string on. It's almost invisible, but there is a string attached to here. There we go. Oh, there you go. You can see it with the dark background. So before I get too decorated, too carried away, I'll decorate it a bit. I thought rainbows would be quite nice for this current climate. So I've got my rainbow crayons out. So nice.
Stop it now.
Good.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Come on, we can have something after when I'm not concentrating on this.
A bit of pink as well. With a bit of pink. Blue. Yeah, not purple. Some green. Right, so that's the outside of my kite. And you can do the other side of your kite because that's the bit you're going to see. So give that a bit of colour as well.
You got any crayons and colouring stuff?
You can do it with pencil crayons. I just tend to use these wax crayons because for demonstration purposes they're a bit quicker. And I didn't want you getting bored watching me colouring the picture in. But we've also got, you can use felt tips, but don't put too much felt tip on it because it tends to make it a bit, the paper a bit damp. So I wouldn't use too much of that.
It's what we gotta do after.
There we go, and a bit of green at the top there. So we can fly the rainbows for the NHS now. Okay, so on the actual body bit, I quite like to make it look a bit more like a bird, to draw a bird's beak on it. So you just do like a T shape on it. There we go. So looks a bit more like a bird's beak. And you can give him some feathers if you like. There we go. Give him a few feathers.
Yeah, I see the bird.
Now, I'll do a test flight, but I know it's not going to fly just right just yet. So watch me carpets. Okay, so right. What happens is the air goes underneath it, and there's lots of turbulence behind it as it rushes out. As it's trying to give it lift, it has turbulence, and it causes it to rotate. So we have to stabilise the air that comes out back. And aeroplanes, if you look on an aeroplane's wings, they have little pins, and that stabilises it and helps present those lines in the sky. That's vapour. The vapour trails come from directing the air turbulence. So there's a couple of different ways of stabilising, and I tend to do it with a tail. So let's have a nice yellow one for this one. So I've got some crepe paper for this. So you need it twice the length of yarn. Oh, the string, I forgot to mention about the length. The ideal length of your string is you get whoever's kite it's going to be to hold it in one hand, and then ooh, they stretch their arms right out like that. That's the ideal length for their string. Okay, so if it's a little child, it'll be a shorter string. If it's a big child, then they'll have a longer string. If you give them too long, it just gets wrapped around them and around other objects and becomes annoying. So that's the ideal length for you. Stretch your arms out, measure your arms. All that bit. We have great fun in the classroom measuring our arms. And then this is, yeah, again, sort of an arm's length or a little bit more. I think we should just stand up and drop it.
This now.
Right. Oh. If you've got them in a roll, measure it out. But if you've got the if you've got them in a long strip, just cut. Don't unravel it. Just cut through one bit of it, about an inch in, about that wide in. So and then shake it out. Really lovely to do, to shake it out. And that's the perfect length. Right. So shake this out. Fold it in half.
Ooh.
Am I going in the right place for everybody? Because in my head I was going to do a demo and then we'd all do it together. I can hear you all having a go because you're keen. I'm going to stick the sellotape, with the sellotape, the tail on the end of the kite there. So you've got tail at one end, string at the other, and then I'll see if we can fly it across my studio. I don't know if I'll have it. I might just tip your the screen up a bit so you can see it. Right. There we go. We get wrapped around the light fitting. I'll run across my studio, see if I can do it.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. Once again, I'll go outdoors and run in.
It's going to run in from the other room, is she?
Oops, that did a twist then, didn't it? Once it gets going, it's quite nice. I'm too close to him. Yeah. We go outside and have a good run, or up and down the corridor. If you're carrying them about, wrap your tails over there like that, and then they won't get caught in the dustbin and the fence and stuff. So hold them like that. Right. Are you all ready to have a go? Shall I do another one?
Yes.
Right. I'll do it again.
Come on, watch.
So you need ideally A3 paper. I'll make an A4 one next.
From the beginning.
Some of you have only got A4 paper. It's about half the size. You'll only need one straw. So glue bits on it. I was assuming that not everybody would have a collection of art materials like I might have in my house. Right, so A4 paper, fold it in half. A mini can this time. And then the two bits that open. Oh, cable's just open. There we go.
This is a bit like nice.
There we go. So the two bits that open out like that.
Yeah.
Fold it across. Now your triangle can be like that to like that. Or you can go right to the bottom if you want to. I tend to go just before the bottom. So it's
Like this.
okay. All right, everybody.
Right, she did it like that. Don't.
Everybody follow that, or does anybody need Emma to just demonstrate again, or is everybody okay?
I was going to say, Sean, are you making one?
I'm unfortunately kind of working in between what
Oh, okay.
it's unfortunate of my life.
Actually, my son's coffee is not that bad. He did say it's milky, but it's
And also, I did make one at the last one you ran for us about 7 years ago. And I sent the photos to some of my friends because it's all of their children very young.
Do the same.
Now, 16.
Sorry?
Some of them are now 16, but back then, they were like 10, 11. So it was.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. They do grow. Right, so once you've cut the triangle off, you should have 2 triangles and something that looks a bit like a pair of pants. Sometimes it's a little bit longer here. That's fine. That's okay.
Yeah. Cut these.
So the middle bit, where your belly button would be, is where you're going to put.
I got that.
Right angle of the triangle. It's going to go there.
Could have taken both together, couldn't you?
Oh, there we are.
Okay, pants.
Are we
You need-
sticking 2 flaps or just one?
Now, if you need a hand with anything, and I'll
Are we
point in the right
sticking 2
direction.
flaps or just one?
Sorry, can you repeat again, Karen?
Yeah, are we sticking the 2 flaps?
Yeah.
Or just one?
2 triangles. Stick one down,
Yeah.
and then when you lift it up, the other one will come off because it's not glued down. So fold it down the other way. Put the other one on top.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Sellotape there.
If you sellotape that, yeah.
So stand up, fold it round the other way, and then stick the sellotape. They're getting stuck together. Stick that down there.
Just go that way.
So you should have the main kite piece with the 2 triangles attached. They will open out in the middle. That's fine. Doesn't matter.
I'm gonna take
Sellotape down here and down here. I might go and get some coloured tape. That might make it easier for you. Just get some coloured tape out.
we want this and then do like that. Or was it? I was right first time. Right.
Exaggerate it slightly here, but, just so you can see, because obviously it's quite difficult to see sellotape. Right, so you're going to stick it along there like that. But my piece of sellotape was too long at this end, so I've just folded it over there, and then fold it back the other way and stick it down there. It all sounds very industrious. I can do lots of sellotape in it. Here we go. Fold that across there like that. So you've got that kind of shape. How are we doing? Oh, I've got 5 pictures now. Oh, you've got video.
Yeah, we found the video.
Brilliant. How many little children have you got there?
I have 2.5. There's one in the high chair just here.
Oh, they're looking great.
Now, is this right?
Yeah, that looks great. Yeah. So long as the beak is along the leading edge, along that longest bit, that is brilliant. That will fly. Yeah. That's great. Okie dokie. So we're ready for the straws now. Has everybody got some straws? If you haven't got some straws, you could try an old pencil, but I think it might be a bit heavy. If you've got paintbrushes that are a bit off, the wood of the paintbrush would work. They're usually quite light. Usually got loads of old paintbrushes. So just snap it off there and use it along there. Doesn't matter if it doesn't reach right to the ends, but ideally it goes a good way. Okay, so it needs to go across there. I'd say normally I use a straw. Yeah. I'll fluff all over it. But you could use an old paintbrush.
And then
I'm trying to be creative here for you.
We've got to sellotape this together, haven't I?
I've only got one on me. I don't know where my other.
But I found those, you know, the bamboo sticks that you use for barbecuing.
Oh yes, yes, skewers. They should be all right. Yeah.
See, this is the wide end.
I've got some as well, so I'll go and grab those and see how they do.
There, for his beak.
Yeah.
I made a mistake. I put it on the wrong end. So you use mine.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Where do you think you've gone wrong then? Just show me again. Oh, that's all right, I think. Yeah, that's okay. So you've got the main body, and then on the other side, you've got that coming down.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
So next thing we need to do is to make that bird's beak. Find something to make a hole with.
Any colours?
So, piece of sellotape. Oh, I was going to do it with masking tape. I'll do it with the colour tape so you can see.
Mummy's pen. Scribble it on me. Okay.
Right. So I'm going to glue this or sellotape it about where the eye would go. So about halfway down. Along that.
The yellow isn't working.
Just use any colour.
Okay.
Oh, I'm using green. Then the green is the one to do. Wow.
I'll just go and find some bamboo skewers that I've got as well, and then I'll make that with these, and then if I see any problems with them I can let you know. So I'll just go to my kitchen and go and get those.
You can finish it off after, can't you?
Close some.
The other side. It's a very rough one now, and then I know how to do it.
Maybe. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I've got some bamboo skewers as well, so they will be bit bendy, but I think they'll be pretty good. You might want to just snap the very pointed bit off. Just
I
in
want
case
that
it like hurtles towards anybody. I put on it. I might put a bit of sellotape on the ends.
and then thingy together, is it?
Yeah, they're the same length as a A4 piece of paper, so that's really good. Never thought of that. Right, keep the desk tidy. How are we doing?
And a bit wobbly.
On the sellotape. Has everybody got their triangle on? And so the triangle's attached to the main part.
Yeah.
Yep. And have you got another extra piece of sellotape going over where the eye would be?
Yeah.
That's where we're up to.
Mhm.
Now, are we ready to punch the hole?
Yep.
Yeah, if you've got a hole punch, brilliant. If you haven't, let's see. One of the skewers might work. A needle, possibly a pencil. Let's see. Oh, a pencil will do it. If you've got a sharp pencil, you can just work it over the sellotape a bit, and eventually it'll burst through. So that's not bad actually. It's pretty good. And there we are. Let me know when you've done the holes.
Yep.
You've done your eye, brilliant. And have you got something for the straws? So either 2 straws,
No.
1 straw, or
Search for that.
do you want to have a search for some straws? Or you could use bamboo skewers from the barbecue. Or if you've got a thin paintbrush or a long one, long paintbrushes. The paintbrush might do it. Where's my paintbrushes gone? I had it tidy up, but now I can't find anything. There we go. There's a long paintbrush. Because you could always, if you do end up using a paintbrush, you can just take it off afterwards if you want to use your paintbrush again. So you can sellotape the paintbrush down. You just see if it'll fit. I'll quickly make a big one as well. So we've got 2 on the go. An A4. Who's having to use an A4 piece of paper, or have you all got A3?
A4.
Oh right. So we've got,
I've got A3.
you've got A3.
Right, you've got to put these on the leading edge to stabilise it so it doesn't go up. Use some sellotape. And move that.
I'll make up another one, and then I'm kind of, if there's any alternatives we need to use, I can, if I've got them here, I can just guide you with those from here.
Then the other
A4 one, you might need 2 straws. Let me just have a look. Straws gone. Yeah, I'd probably put 2 on it anyway. cross them over, obviously cross them over slightly more in the middle. Doesn't matter which way really, because they're going to cross over enough for it not to bend. And stretch them as far out as you can to the edge. Okay, let's do it with some blue ones, you might be able to see it better. It's having to be aware of the colours of everything now for demonstration, so that you can see them properly. But yeah, so like that, or you could use the bendy bit in the middle.
Stop these wings from going.
Okay, so that'll go along there like that. If you're doing an A4 one.
Go like that, but you can't go like that.
If you're doing the bigger A3 one, and your straws just cross over a little bit. There you go. Blah, blah, blah. So they will go more like that. Goes down.
Well, this is just a prototype. We'll get it right next time.
Oh yeah. Well, once we've made this one, the plan was for me to show you how to make some, because it's based on symmetry. So long as both sides are the same shape, it will fly straight. If you've got one side slightly different from the other side, then you'll fly the
circle.
So really good for maths, for symmetry. And I'll show you how to do a couple of animals, but we'll get this one first, and you can go off and have a fly, do a test flight, either down your hallway or nip outside into the garden, have a quick run around, and then I'll show you how to do the animals, or rockets, or aeroplanes, something like that. I've got a couple of designs that you can should be able to draw them here, and you should be able to have a go. So we'll see.
There we are.
Oh, brilliant! That's looking good. Right, I should have written everyone's names down. Let's just write the names down quickly so I can. Right, who have we got? We've got
Judy and Riley.
Sorry?
Judy and Riley.
Judy and Riley.
Yeah.
Hello, Judy and Riley. And who else?
Judy. Yeah.
Is it Jack that's on his own?
Freddie and Karen.
Freddie and Karen. Freddie, that's it. And Karen. And then who have we got?
Olive and Sebastian.
Olive and Sebastian. And Sebastian. There we go. Right, that will help me shout to the right person. So, Freddie, have you got your straws on yet? Or your bamboos?
Lovely.
Oh, brilliant. They're in the right place. Right. You're ready now. If you've got your straws on and you've got your hole punched, I would do a bit of decoration now. So get your crayons out and start decorating it. These are brilliant spaces. You can write poems on them. You can draw things on them. We can just do those lovely rainbows that are very fashionable at the moment to say thank you to the NHS. So you can go and fly your thanks to the NHS. I don't know where you are, whether you're hearing on Thursday evenings the claps. And did anyone hear the singing of the national anthem last night?
No.
Oh, it was lovely. We could hear, someone was out with a loudspeaker system and they had it going. But I've got friends that live in Llangollen and they said they had 2 sound systems set up by local mobile DJ companies, and they'd synchronised it. So the whole of Llangollen was singing national anthem at 8 o'clock last night. So that must have been like pretty nice. A lot of people have said it was quite emotional. It was a good thing to be part of. But yeah, we weren't expecting too many, but we went outside and we could hear people singing. I'm just not very good with the words, so I just hummed them on. Did my best. Yeah.
I was too shy to sing on my own.
Oh. Every little helps though. Make a sound.
Go.
Mm.
Right.
So get decorating. I'm going to decorate this one as well. I'm going to put a face on this one. I'll just put my straws on. So long as you've got your straws on, or your pencil or bamboo, or whatever. I was going to find bamboo with this one. I think.
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple.
And just a warning, sometimes when you're putting sellotaping the straws down, the sellotape gets stuck on the table, so you just peel it off and then fold it over the other side. But when you're doing, if there's any sellotape around where your triangle is, just make sure you can move your triangle freely, because that will help it angle properly.
Well, then that's your job.
Purple. Give me your purple.
That's your job. You need purple. Colour in and I look for it. Okay.
Right, well, punch me hole through this one. So long as you've got all the actual structure made, it's time to decorate it then. So let me know when you've finished decorating it, and then it's time to put the string on, and then finally the tail. I always put the tail on last because it gets in the way otherwise. It is quite long and it drapes all over the floor that people tread on it. I usually do this in classrooms or community centres, and they're very busy. So this is quite different. Everybody having their own space at home, and you know, having their own set of materials. So that's a bit more of a challenge, but I'm really enjoying it. It's great. So I'm going to draw a face on mine this time. So let's have some nice eyes.
It's going to take forever.
You can just sketch it out if you don't want to spend too long. You just sketch it out something quick and then colour it in a bit more another day. That's all right.
I just do that.
And now I need an orange.
Are you keen to fly it? That's what it is, isn't it?
Okay. That's what it is.
Because that's the best bit, flying it.
Shall I colour it in?
Sure.
What colour's next?
Yellow. And then green. And black. Don't worry, you don't have to colour it in too much.
Okay, thank you.
Blue eyes, I think. And then
I'm already running around that
With
the kite.
with their kite.
Hey!
We'll come back later and do the tail.
Yeah.
Between with tail and without.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Well, they haven't actually got the tail on yet.
Oh, what will happen is they'll fly, but they'll just spin round and round and round. So when they've had enough, they'll come in with them, and then you put the tail on. And when they fly them again, they'll be more stable. They'll still spin a bit, but not much. So what they'll do now is they'll just burn off some energy, and the kites will spin. But it's because of the lift, the air current, and being unstabilised. But we've got a couple of different ways of doing a tail. Have you got crepe paper?
We don't have any crepe paper.
Have you got some old plastic bags? Plastic bags are great if you just cut it up into a strip and then just sellotape that on. That'll be fine. Needs to be about that long. You know, the height of the child is ideal, because then when they're holding it up, it's not draping on the floor. So the height of the child, no more than that. That should be enough. So plastic bags are good. Another thing you can do if they've got a bit more time and the dexterity, piece of string, and then old sweet wrappers, and just tie them along,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then just stabilizes it slightly, and they look very pretty as well. So if there are any sweet wrappers around, it's more Christmas time, you have sweet wrappers, or they're Easter egg wrappers, something like that. But any kind of bits of rubbish, really, you can tie it on, and it just looks pretty, but also it serves the same purpose. So it's a very different shape. What else could you use? Bits of tissue paper, possibly, if it's dry. Yeah, just tie them onto a piece of string. I'll just do a quick demo.
The string.
Oh, you're cutting out that part. Oh.
So,
I was going to go shopping.
what's going on here? Right. You just cut off bits and then tie them onto the string.
Going off your arms.
Or do I need another one? Bit more.
Yeah. Some more.
Okay, so that's the kind of thing that you can do as an alternative to the one where you've just got this. But you can also, you can cut strips of plastic, old bin bag. You can make the actual kite out of plastic as well, but you can't draw on them, and it's quite hard to cut sometimes to get the shape. So that's why I usually start off with a piece of paper first. Excuse me. I've also done it with that's great, except you can't colour on it. But the pictures are quite colourful, so if you make lots of them and then fly lots of them, that looks really nice. And they've got some of them have got a bit of a kind of plastic coating to them, so they're quite hard wearing, and if they get a bit damp in the grass, they don't go all soggy. So yeah, experiment with that. So about 20 centimetres apart, something like that, and then just tie another one on. I tend to do this one with older children because the younger ones don't like doing the knots. But if that's all you do.
I'll put some string on it now.
Great. So the string for the kite gets tied to the eye, the hole that you made in that triangle. There's a hole, and that's where the string goes.
Put string on now.
Okay, through there. Okay. And then the tail goes on. When you hold it up, it's a bit more logical then.
Right.
So Olive and Sebastian, how are your kites flying?
Play with some of these.
Oh, they're right.
I don't know if cats like string.
And he's
Oh,
just
Oh, hang on, I can't quite hear you.
No.
he's tied his we've just stuck the tail on.
Right.
The old bag from front.
Brilliant.
And then he's now gone outside to run with it and see how it goes.
Brilliant.
So we'll report back in a minute.
Oh, great. It's really funny. Make sure that there's no trip things, because what happens is they start running and then they turn around to see the kite and then they fall over. So get a little bit of a flight path sorted. And if you've got space and they can run around in a circle, like a route that we usually do around the playground, and they all have to go in the same direction, otherwise we get them all running into each other. But if they're just at home, there's two of them, that's not too bad. But if there's a nice a lane to run up and down, or a garden you can run round in a circle, then that works really, really well. You might have to take photographs to prove that they're actually flying. When it flies its best, they're always looking the other way.
Yeah.
So,
Imagine. Okay, right, here we go, Olive. Here's yours. Thanks.
Put your tail on then. Sellotape.
the other thing you might want to do when you go out flying with them is to pop a couple of straws or the kebab sticks in your pocket, and then a wristband of some masking tape or sellotape, because then if there's any faults and you need any repairs, you haven't got to keep running indoors for them. So when we go out for test flights, I usually take a couple of straws with me and some sellotape on my wrist to then do the flight testing. Oh, we've got some flights going on now.
Going well.
A bit of flights going on from who is it now? Judy and
Riley. If you can run from there into the kitchen.
Okay, I need to open the door then.
Yeah, make sure you're not going to trip on anything. Don't want increased A&E visits from kite making. Oh, I can just about see it.
And again.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to go because I have something else. I have to I have to do on Zoom.
Okay, it's lovely to meet you. Thanks for joining in, and happy kite flying.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, Ellen. Bye, Sebastian. Right. So we've just got Judy, Riley, Freddie, and Karen now. So, Freddie, how'd you get on with yours? Is it flying?
Yes, good. I've just been outside now.
Brilliant.
Quickly for a run.
Yeah. So a quick run. It's good because you're making something and then you play with it afterwards. So that's quite nice, really. Get a bit of extra wear out of it. Would you like?
I tied mine to a stick, the rope. So.
Oh yeah.
That's a good
If you've
idea.
got a good breeze, then they will fly like that. But these kites tend to fly better with you running and jogging around, so they're really good for giving you a bit of exercise as well.
I've got a huge space, so I've just been running around.
Oh, great.
Over there.
Oh, around your garden. Oh, brilliant. Straight lines are really good. When you start to hit a corner, that's when they start to go a bit wobbly. So if you do a quick turn, they tend to fall then. But once you're in a straight line and it's got a bit of lift, they can fly really well. Yeah, so that's good. And it'll be surprising all the neighbours as well if you've got anybody around you. If you can see just a kite flying across the hedge. Would you like me to show you the Symmetry one to do an animal?
Okay.
Well, we've got to leave now, Emma.
Okay.
So I'll say goodbye, Riley. Say goodbye.
Bye, Riley. Nice to see you. Enjoy your kite making.
Thank you very much.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
Bye. Right, so it's just you and me now, Freddie. So, right, I'll get another piece of paper. Right, what you have to remember is that these are symmetry. It's all about symmetry. So, if you wanted to make a bird, let me get there we go. Well, we've already done sort of a bird shape. But if I did something like that, okay, that's almost like half the bird. So there's his wings going out there, and this is sort of his body and his tail. So I can still cut a triangle shape out, do it in a different colour so you can see. I can still cut my triangle shape out, but then I'm going to do more patterned there. So I just cut that like that. And then
Animals, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
animal kites.
I don't know.
I could photograph these and then maybe we can send them to everybody that participated. They might want to have a go at making a symmetrical one. Ooh. There we go. So when I open it out, instead of having a big pair of underpants, I've got one like a bird shape. Well, it's a bit more like a tree really. But the triangle gets stuck on the same, about there. You could cut it a bit more if you wanted to. So do it more. More sort of bird shaped. See if I can do this. More bird shaped like that. Okay. So that'd be more like a bird. Or you can even send it forward slightly. That works all right. And then the other one. What's the other one I was going to do? Oh, a butterfly. So you fold it in half. And you've got like a butterfly. Ooh, there we go. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Butterfly sort of shape. So if I cut that out, these are good scissors. Yeah. And I've got a triangle there like that. So am I going too fast for you, or am I all right?
Yeah, fine.
But you can get creative now, because as long as you've got a strong leading edge somewhere for your straws and it's slightly wider than the rest of the kite, you should be fine. And then you need that triangle shape to hang your string from, because if you hang the string from the actual body of the kite, you'll just drag it down. You need a bit of a gap between those straws and where you put your string. So that's why we have this triangle piece here, so that the straws can go across the top. You need ideally for it to be about an inch down, maybe a bit more. So what's that, about yeah, about 3 or 4 centimetres down. So long as you've got that, then the air can go above it and it'll go up at a slight angle. Whereas if you've got your string attached too high, it's just gonna, you're just gonna drag it down. So you want that there somewhere. But once you've got the basic concept, you can really go to town with it and start experimenting with your designs. And then there's all the colouring in. You know, quite like the rainbow ones. I might make a load for my fence. I'll get that now. There we go.
Is that the bit that goes in the middle? Do you want me to cut some sellotape? Maybe we should do a sign workshop online even.
Can you help me, please?
Yeah.
Right, I'm just sticking the straws on now. I tend to stick the sellotape just over where the bendy bits are, and then that stops them bending too much.
Okay, stick those on there. You might get away with one straw, Freddie.
With this, yeah.
Do you want to grab one? I'll just cut that little edge off this.
There we go.
Got this,
I'm just trying to make a bird now.
You're going to make a bird.
Yeah.
There you go. And you can start to colour them in. So long as they're symmetrical, then they should fly evenly. So you can play around with your shapes. Oh, the straw has to go along that straight leading edge. So it would go, oops. I'm going to go along there.
Okay.
Okay. So, and also remember that your straws are going to go on the top.
Mhm.
And then your triangle bit goes underneath. If you've got them both on the same side, you won't be able to move your the triangle piece, and the straws won't cross at the top, so it'll snap. It won't work properly. So I'm going to glue that one together as well. Then.
Do you want me to snip the edge of the straw?
Go on then, yeah.
Okay, so you've got your straw. You've got your
Now we
flaps.
do the.
Oh yeah, you need some sellotape. Yeah.
An extra painting session there for you.
Yeah.
So how are you getting on with your bird? Have you finished your bird?
Yeah, I've just
Bird,
finished it now. It's here.
Coloured it in and stuff. Are you ready for a test flight? Oh, tail. So it needs the string
yeah.
goes through the eye. So measure the length of your arms, and that's the ideal length that you need.